Go to hour number 3. My name is Jim Rome. If you missed the first 2 hours, we already had conversations with Texas Ranger third baseman Michael Young. We had Rashard Lewis of the Orlando Magic. If I'm not mistaken, I have not taken a telephone call yet. That could change. 1-800-636-8686. As promised, I'm joined right now by the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. I had burned on him yesterday. I talked about Trent Edwards and how he didn't fare too well throwing out the first ball before a Blue Jays game. Did great at BP. Got a hold of a couple, but didn't do as well throwing out the first pitch. And either he saw that or it got back to him, and he let us know that he wanted to defend himself. So here he is. He's back on the program. Trent, nice to have you back. How are you?
I'm good, Jim. Thank you for having me on the show here today.
Dude, it's always good to have you on the show. And you are good. You're better now than you were that night. What happened in that first pitch, Trent?
Hi. Well, first of all, I would just like to point out the fact that I did hit 2 home runs in batting practice before that pitch took place. So,
as I mentioned, what happened on the pitch?
I do still have some athleticism, but not on that pitch. I originally had thought I was going to throw off the grass in front of the mound, and the lady had said, don't throw off the mound. So I was thinking I wasn't going to throw off the mound, and right as I went out there, she was like, if you want to throw off the mound, you can. So I went out there, and I'm wearing my Air Force One shoes, and I'm wearing jeans. I'm not warmed up. The wind starts to pick up, and then Vernon Wells, who's not a catcher, comes out of the Blue Jays dugout to catch the first pitch. So I'm dead right there in the fact that I'm throwing to a center fielder, not a catcher. So Vernon, I thought, called for the pitch out, and I threw the pitch out. It was a little bit low, and he wasn't really expecting that. But
there was nobody on base, Trent. Why would they call for a pitch out?
Jim, it was a 4-seam fastball. It just got away from me, and I was throwing it on the outside pitch, and unfortunately kind of got away from me though. But
all right, so let me get this straight, Trent. It was the 4-seam, it was the shoes, it was the rubber, it was the wind, it was the fact that you were in jeans, and it wasn't the real catcher. Which one was it?
Correct. It was, so all those put together, Jim, I don't understand.
And let's not forget the one thing, you were squeezing it way too tight. You see, that's what happens, Trent. When the ball ends up there, it's because you're squeezing it way too tight and holding on to it too long, or the ball wouldn't end up where it did.
Did you pitch in your day, Jim?
No, but I've done what you did, and I fared much better. I did that once, and I got it to the catcher.
I know, and honestly, too, I enjoy talking about it, though. I had a good time, get some good laughs with the guys at the game, and I got to keep guys in business like you. You got to have something to talk about on your show. No doubt, and I appreciate you for it. Hey, one more thing I would say about that, Trent. You did the right thing, because when I did it back in the day, I was at Jack Murphy Stadium. They hit me with the same thing. Do you want to go from the grass or up on the bump? Absolutely. As bad as that may have gone for you, you have to throw from the rubber. You cannot pitch from the grass. You have to, and I think when Vernon came out, he had the option of sitting behind the real home plate, or there was a home plate on the grass in front of it, and I waved him back to the real home plate thinking I could get there, and the rest is history.
Hey, Trent, Vernon should have had a mask on with you out there.
You know what, and Vernon made a great play, too. That's what, you can't lose sight of that. I mean, it was a bad pitch, but being a center fielder, he scooped that clean. If the ball would have gone to the backstop, too, it would have been worse.
If it had gone to the backstop, you and I wouldn't be having this conversation. You would not be welcome on the show. He picked you up. Man, he picked you up. Now, all that said, and you've taken this very well, you did get a hold of a couple in batting practice. You look very proficient with a bat in your hand.
I had a good time with it. I know Lee was with me, Lee Evans, and he had missed a couple pitches in batting practice. He had swung and missed, and I had to keep it real for the Buffalo Bills here. I had to make sure that we're not going to embarrass ourselves, and obviously I was able to get a hold of a couple of them and put them over the fence. So that was fun. Good
job, Trent. I'm glad to talk to you about that. All right, so talk about life with T.O. The circus has arrived. He came to town. People are waiting for him at the airport. What was it like the first day in practice with him?
Yeah, you look to the sideline, and there's a lot more media covering your practice than you're normally used to, and he obviously is a much different. He's a player that we haven't had here before, and he's going to demand a lot of respect, a lot of coverage, and that's kind of what our defense is going at us right now. We're expecting a lot of coverage to him, so now we're trying to take advantage of what we have in him. We're trying to learn what he likes, what I like, and trying to get on the same page here pretty quickly. But there was definitely a little bit more media coverage. I'm definitely having to answer more questions about him.
Hey, Trent, is that going to get old? I mean, I know you're going to focus on football and isolate on football, but this is all part of it. There is more coverage, and there's going to be some distractions potentially. Is that going to get old?
Yeah, Jim, I'd like to say that it's not going to get old, but I mean, I'm a realist just like you. It's probably we're going to be talking about it all the time, and I got to make sure that I'm going to continue to do my job the best that I can and try to answer the questions that I get the best that I can. And chances are it's going to get old, but I'm going to try not to show that it's going to get old.
Trent Edwards is my guest. Trent, how'd you approach it? For instance, when you found out that he was coming, did you make it a point to get on the phone and start calling people that had played with him to kind of supply yourself with information, or did you not want any information, and were you going to wait and find out for yourself and reserve all judgment?
Yeah, I think I've kind of just waited. I didn't get a chance to talk to any of the quarterbacks that have played with him before, and guys that have been in the locker room that I know have played with him before have said things to me, but that hasn't been me seeking out advice or anything. Guys have given their advice to me, and I've taken it for what it's worth. But I'm going to treat him like any other player I've played with before. I mean, we've drafted a couple guys, and I'm going to treat him just like any other drafted guys, and going to try to make sure I'm getting on the same page with them, and try to make sure I'm getting the ball on time and accurate to him.
Trent, mentally, do you determine, at least in your mind, who a number one is? Do you have to establish a number one, or is it just a matter of going back and making your reads and getting the ball to the guy who's open?
Yeah, I think the way our system is set up, we have a progression style of offense. So if he's the number one receiver in the progression, I'm obviously looking to him first, and then going to Lee, and then going to Josh, or all these other guys. And we're going to have plays in our offense where he's going to be number 2, he's going to be number 3, or he's just going to be a clear out route, and we're going to be throwing a screen route to Marshawn. And that's, kind of going to be our style of offense. And I'm not going to do anything I'm not coached to do, but chances are when we do get single coverage, I'm going to be able to check it at the line of scrimmage and get a chance to get him a ball outside.
You get the sense that Lee Evans was happy to see T.O.?
Yeah, in all honesty, the conversations I've had with Lee, there haven't been anything negative. It's all been optimistic, positive conversations, and we've already noticed it in practice right now. He's been getting some single coverage, and I've already hit Lee a couple times these past couple practices that normally our defense wouldn't play that coverage had Terrell not been here.
Hey, Trent, what's it like in town? You know how badly the Buffalo Bills fans want you to win. You know how important it is to them, and they will cling on to anything, grasp onto anything that thinks gives them that shot. What's the buzz like in the community?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely everyone's thinking the glass is half full right now. It's maybe even 3/4 full. These fans here are very passionate about the Bills, obviously. We're a small market, small town team, but, we love our fans, and they're coming up to us when we see them out there on the street, and they're, asking me about T.O., asking about the offense, asking about Jason Peters, all these issues, and they're going to show up on Sunday just like we are, and we're obviously going to try and win and do everything we can to get to those playoffs in January and February. But it's been exciting so far, and I'm looking forward to this season. Yeah,
Jason Peters, something. Of course, they're going to ask you about him. How much do you think you'll miss him?
Yeah, obviously, Jim, he's a big part of our offense these last couple of years. You see, he's gone to the Pro Bowl. He's played against big-time players. He's blocked the Jason Taylors and blocked the Mike Vrabels for the past 2-3 seasons for us. And, now he's gone to the Eagles, and we're going to need guys to step up is the bottom line. It's just like we're going to need Fred Jackson and Dominique Rhodes to step up when Marshawn Lynch is out for those 3 games, and we're going to need whoever we put over there at left tackle to step up for us. And, that's pretty much the bottom line. It's just like someone were to get injured or suspended, we need guys in this offense to make that happen for us. And that's such a critical part of our offense, though, too. You can't throw the ball outside or you can't run the ball if you don't have an offensive line, and we realize that.
Hey, Trent, one last thought. How do you approach it? If in fact, T.O. was not on the same page in the end with Jeff Garcia and Tony Romo and Donovan McNabb, why would it be different now in Buffalo with you?
That's a really good question. The way I've approached it is that I feel like there's more to that story. I think if you ask Jeff and Donovan and Tony, I really think that maybe they didn't hold up their end of the bargain too, and they would say it's a two-way street. I don't know if they're really just pointing the finger at him, and I don't know if necessarily his side of the story gets heard all the time. And like I said before, I'm really taking this just like any other teammate, any other player that's coming into our team and our organization. I'm going to work with him countless hours and put in all the time I can to make sure that I'm performing well with him on Sunday. And I don't know why that's the approach I'm taking right now. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of the other quarterbacks don't really get the finger pointed at them too much.
Hey, Trent, coming off the pitch and a series of T.O. questions, an all-pro effort on the program today. Great to have you back. I appreciate the phone call. I'm glad you made it. Thank you very much.
Always fun, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Trent, you're great. Thank you.